And that is all.
All right, thank you. Let's go ahead and get started with our consent agenda item, please.
Consent agenda C1 is case number CLD F final plat 2024-00004, a request to approve a final plat for Cadence fifth plat in District R-75 on about 15 acres, generally located at the southeast corner of Northwest 104th Street and North Liberty Street, allowing for the creation of 58 lots and 2 tracts for the purposes of a residential development. And staff is recommending continuance with fee to April 1st.
Okay, any questions from the commissioners? I know this is not what was published on the agenda, but they're looking to continue the case to April 1st without a fee. All right, seeing none, anybody from the public like to speak regarding docket item C1 and the continuance of that to April 1st?
There are no hands raised online.
All right, we'll close public testimony then, and I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crowley, I move to continue docket item C1 with fee to April 1st.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second for continuance of docket item C1. Margaret, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Arkin,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hasek,
Aye.
Morrell.
Aye.
All right, looks like that motion passes then. Thank you. See you next meeting. All right, with that, let's move to our regular docketed items, beginning with those that want to be continued to a future date.
The continuances begin with docket item number 7. It's case number CD MISC 2025-0004, a request to approve the KCI area plan generally located in the area bounded by city limits of Kansas City, Missouri on the north, city limits to Amity, and then along Highway 152 on the south, Platte and Clay County boundary on the east, city limits of Kansas City, Missouri on the west, and excluding the village of Fairview, generally located north of Northwest Cookingham Drive, east of North Shannon Avenue, west of Northwest Skyview Avenue, and south of Northwest 128th Street. Staff is recommending continuance without fee to April 15th. Docket item number 8 is CD CPC 2026-9, a request to approve a major amendment to Antioch Crossing to change permitted uses in District UR on about 42 acres generally located at the northwest corner of Northeast Vivian Road and North Choteau Traffic Way. Staff is recommending continuance without fee to April 1st. Docket item number 9, CD SUP 2026-8, a request to approve a special use permit for accessory parking on about 1.86 acres generally located on West 43rd Street, immediately west of Mill Creek Park, and Broadway Boulevard, specifically located at 220 West 43rd Street at the Embassy Suites location. Staff recommends continuance without fee to April 1st. And docket item number 10 is CD CPC 2026-11, a request to approve a rezoning from District R1.5 to District 0.5 on about 0.15 acres generally located at 3112 Flora Avenue. And staff is recommending continuance without fee to April 1st.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commissioners regarding continuance of docket items 7, 8, 9, or 10? Seeing none, let's open it up for public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding continuance of docket items 7, 8, 9, or 10, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you'll be called upon.
No one appears with their hands raised on Zoom or has approached the podium.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and close public testimony on that then, and I'll take a motion.
Chair Crowley, I move to continue docket items 7, 8, 9, and 10 as stated in the docket.
Second.
Motion and a second for continuance of 7 through 10. Margaret, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Arkin,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hasek,
Aye.
Morrell.
Aye.
All right, looks like the motion passes then on the continuance of those items. Let's move back to docket item number 1, please.
Docket item number 1 is case CD CPC 2025-00111, a request to approve a de-annexation of approximately 4.5 acres zoned R-80, generally located at the northwest corner of Northeast 104th Street and North Church Road from the corporate limits of City of Kansas City, Missouri, to permit subsequent annexation by the City of Liberty, Missouri.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the City Plan Commission, Olafo Agbaji City Planning and Development staff. I have to make sure done correctly. Thanks. The first docket item today is a request by Hosanna Lutheran Evangelical Lutheran Church to de-annex a portion of their property from the city of Kansas City into the city of Liberty. Now, go with me today is Anthony Belcher, who is with the church, and also Pastor Mike Kern. Again, the request is to de-annex or detach 4.5 acres tract of land from Kansas City into City of Liberty. And one of note is that the actual church building sits in the City of Liberty. There's a sliver that sits in the City of Kansas City. And I'll take you through two processes. We do have a new plan commissioner. So I'm going to give you a quick background on the annexation process and how we've done it in the city and where we are today. So the annexation or annexation process is a process where land is transferred from one government entity to another, so from one municipal boundary to another. This can be either voluntary or initiated by City Plan Commission or City Council based on a project. This can also, in this case, this has been a request by an entity or a personal request by the church to move their property into one municipality. So examples we've had before within Kansas City is where mostly we did this with parks with North Kansas City, where, you know, the children's park with the statue and the waterfall right within the corporate limits of North Kansas City, but it was owned by Kansas City, Missouri. They de-annexed that and we received that. We did that with Happy Rock Park, whereby portions of the park was being is within both municipalities, and we were both handling the same park. So we gave that to Gladstone. Annexation started in the city back in 1853. And this was when the downtown loop area, I do have a map to show you that downtown loop area was annexed. And then next we moved further up into the West Bottom area and then into downtown core. The most recent annexation, which most of the commissioners here did, was 2025, which was the de-annexation within Corporate Woods, where we de-annexed the property to put the building with the principal building, and then with the house, we did that partial de-annexation. In our code, there's no mention of annexation. We don't have a process, but we have been doing this since, again, 1853. So here is an annexation map. So if you look at 1853, this was the first, just off the river, just down into the river market area was the first annexation. Then we moved on up into the greater downtown area in 1859, and on and on and on and on. So we have this for the entire city up to the most recent one done. So every time a boundary is moved, we have this reflected in this map. So today's request is, again, the detachment of just 4.5 acres. And this is, again, to allow for the church to be totally within, the holdings of the church to be totally within the City of Liberty. Again, the location of this request today is way at the northeast corner of the city, where my arrow is pointing to. A closer look shows you where the yellow dot is the request, again, City of Liberty, and then City of Kansas City in gray. So this is a closer look at the specific corner. So what you have is the area highlighted in yellow. And if you look at this Church Road and Northeast 104th Street do intersect, but it's totally within, that intersection is totally within the City of Liberty. So south of the church is the City of Liberty. East of the church is the City of Liberty, and the Liberty North High School is just to the east of the parcel. Roosterville Airport, which is just regional, we only have, I think, the runway and portions of buildings within the city of Kansas City. Then the closest or the latest development we could have done was Mandalay Bay, and then the extension of the new subdivision here. This is a closer look at the site showing the existing church building within the City of Liberty. The red line shows corporate boundaries. And then this is the parcel. The yellow parcel is what the church wants to be detached from Kansas City to be annexed into City of Liberty. Again, here's a cleaner map that shows, again, you can see that portions of the church is within the city of Kansas City. So here's a survey we did. As part of this process, we started this process about a year ago, but most of the first action we had to do was to make sure that what I'll call the interjurisdictional plat was done. And this is the plat that was created to then lop off this piece into the city, into the holdings of the church. So they can own property within two municipal boundaries, but the issue comes into where this building, this corner of the building touches the property line, which even though we took out the property line, is still a municipal boundary. So the request today is to remove this municipal boundary and move it over here so that this building can be totally within one municipality, one parcel, and then under one jurisdictions for review, enforcement, and anything that's going to occur moving forward. So this was approved, I think, last year. The plat to then create and make this into one big lot. So today's action will allow the church now to not have this reviewed by two municipalities. Again, if we look at this, this is within the 1st district in Kansas City, and it's also within the 1st ward in Liberty, Missouri. The zoning, the parcel is both zone residential, kind of suburban, large lot residential development. And as you could see in the area photo, there's nothing but farmland currently there. The use is going to remain residential even when they move into City of Liberty. The use of the building will remain religious assembly as a church. They just want this to be under one jurisdiction. Building permit and inspections will be done totally now by the City of Liberty. I think when they put in the addition, both cities reviewed it. We kind of signed off on Liberty, but Kansas City had to sign off. So moving forward, we don't have to deal with any of those. So the annexation process requires a public hearing for the City Plan Commission, and then the City Council takes final action. They've done their public engagement. They are also pursuing the same process with the City of Liberty, because when this is de-annexed, it has to be annexed so that it is within municipal boundary and governed. So again, this is what the corporate again shows the word. So again, I just said the de-annexation requires concurrent annexation by City of Liberty moving forward. And the applicant is working both the councilmen here and then the elected officials in Liberty. Staff's recommendation of this de-annexation is for approval. And I will then let the applicants talk unless there's any question for staff.
Just a quick question. Is there I mean, it looks like the predominant amount of property is in KC, not Liberty. Was there a reason why one was the de-annex and one was the annex? How was that decision made? Like why we wouldn't have switched into Kansas City rather than to Liberty.
So our,
Introduce yourself.
oh, sorry, Anthony Belcher, Council President at Hosanna. So our building is in Liberty, so we're serviced, all of our utilities are Liberty.
That makes sense. That's,
Everything,
yeah,
yeah.
that's all I was, trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So to add to that, the original building was built in Liberty. So it was when they put in the addition, they put in, I think it's a classroom.
It's our education
Yeah.
wing is on that side and it,
I'm just always trying to add more space to Kansas City, not get rid of it. So,
So yeah, so it was when they put that in, at last minute, they realized that it encroached into Kansas City, and then they came and then we signed off on the permit, but it has remained that way. So what happened after that was they approached the farmer, Mr. Fleshman, and he did give them, he sold them the land. But if you sell the land, it has to be approved by the city of Kansas City. And this survey was going through the process. So the sale was in 2014. 15. And we just did the approval by the city summer of last year. So by doing that lot line adjustment, technically, we allowed them to then come forward to get the annex today and then put in one municipality.
it just, I mean, looking at the lot, it would just make sense if that whole red line, not just for that property, would have gone to the street so that you'd split between Liberty and Missouri on A rather than,
Liberty does not want to relinquish the frontage on A to.
I would say even if it was in Kansas City property line, my understanding is that the address would still be Liberty because it's accessed off of a Liberty street, and we would have to take control of the street in order for it to be a Kansas City address.
well, what do we do on state line? Isn't it halfway between?
It is
I'm just-
halfway between.
I'm
states.
just, I'm
But
just-
but again,
yeah,
that's a state
I know.
boundary.
Yeah,
so
no, I get you.
This is.
I just
city
want
to
more
city.
property.
Yeah.
In Kansas City.
Any other questions from the commission to city staff? Okay. How about from the applicant? Anything else you'd like to add from Holofu's presentation?
no, he covered everything very well. Appreciate the time for us being here today, allowing us to be here today.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? All right, with that, let's open it up for any public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 1, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you'll be called upon.
No one has raised their hand on Zoom or approached the podium.
Okay. We'll go ahead and close public testimony then. If there's no other comments to add, I'll take a motion from the commission then.
Chair Corral, I move to approve docket item number 1 without conditions.
Second.
So I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 1. Margaret, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Arkin,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders.
Aye.
Hasek.
Aye.
Morale.
Aye.
Looks like the motion passes. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.
All right.
For your time. Thank you.
All right, let's move on to docket item number 2, please.
Docket item number 2 is case CD CPC 2021-00242, a request to approve an extension of the approval time period for a development plan by 1 year on about 4 acres generally located at the southeast corner of Northeast 42nd Street and North Antioch.
Thank you.
Might give us like a couple minutes to read through this report real quick, you know.
Actually, you really don't have to. No, my memo indicated that staff report from 2022 is attached, and when I opened it today, I realized that I didn't attach it. So it's just if you want to reference it.
Oh, yeah, it's the same one that we have.
Yeah, it's the same staff report. I should have attached it just in case you had any question.
Okay.
Again, Olaf Wagbaji, City Planning and Development, with me is Patricia Jensen. The request today is just for a 1-year extension to an approved development plan, which the City Plan Commission can grant. And the original plan was approved by City Plan Commission back in March, and then they want a extension to March of 2027. if you recall, any plan commissioner that was here back then was, this is the container building that was approved back in, and then if you want to see the presentation, I do have it from 2022. But so the request today what's before you is just an extension for 1 year to just allow for the developer to move forward.
Question, on the original, did we have a time limit on when that needed to start or development?
All development plans are valid for 4 years unless an extension is granted. If they do not get this extension, it will lapse and they have to reapply. So extension give them opportunity to try to do it within that 1 year period. Otherwise, they will lose the entitlement.
You have a map kind of showing where this is by chance?
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
So here's just a general map. It's off what's Antioch, just south of 35 at the interchange of 2935, extension of Antioch, which turns to Prater. So it's just within this area. So
Okay.
I do have if you want, I can open up the full, if you want any additional information.
I mean,
I would imagine there's only one, maybe two of us that have seen this previously, so you might want to open it up just to revisit.
Okay, let me go ahead.
Commissioner Corral, Patricia Jensen, a point of interest that you might know is if you remember where the Housing Authority and the city built the apartment project off of I-35 and Antioch, it's right down that street.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Okay.
I do. I don't think these folks
Yeah.
know where the project is.
Okay.
I just want to make sure our commissioners are
Mhm.
understanding where this is at.
Is this working?
Yep.
Yep.
And that's the general location. So if you
Yep.
see 35 is on the north, and then this is where Antioch turns to Prater. This is the vacant piece of property. Again, that's to the north is existing apartment complex. 4 acres, zoned R6. And we had 3 companion cases. We did an area plan amendment to rezoning and approval of a development plan that allowed for 108 unit. This is the layout. So it's in a courtyard shape kind of layout, and this is the container buildings kind of, I do have some renderings. So this is what they will look like. And this is a rendering of what the courtyard will look like. So you're looking at the container buildings stacked in 3 different layouts. So we had some corrections and then several stuff, but staff recommended this and the council approved this back then too. So this is to get an extension to allow for this to occur.
Okay. Any questions for city staff?
Has the development started? No. Okay. So the 4 years is 4 years to get started, not for complete.
Yeah.
the original.
Original 4
Yeah,
years.
so this is
Right.
an addition on top.
Yeah.
Is there a reason? Just economic factors or?
Yeah, Patricia Jensen, I am here on behalf of US Futures, which is Benny Hoy. Benny would be here today, but he got in a motorcycle accident. Pretty significant injuries, and he is trying to manage pain. Yeah, it's just he's working on trying to get the development going. So
And what would the?
Commissioner Arkin, also to answer your question, plans that don't have identified phasing
Yep.
are good for 4 years. But if you have a phasing schedule that's out longer, then
Right, yeah, I mean, we've
Right.
approved a 10-year and things
Right.
like that. No, I
Right.
understand that. I just wanted to see typically, or at least more recently, at least since I've been here, we've been putting some more limits on time, but just so that there's not,
right.
you know, empty lots. So I just wanted to make sure there wasn't something that we had said like more hinged on the development starting.
Are they still going to maintain the shipping container type of?
That's yet to really be determined. I mean, if you recall, Benny was partnering with Paul, last name, he's my client. He's the
Yeah.
one who's built the shipping containers
Right.
off of Southwest Boulevard. That's gone away. So he is working with somebody right now to try to extend that out.
Is a year enough time?
Well, I think you only have authority for a year.
Only have authority for a year? Why is
Yeah, I
that?
believe so. I don't know.
Wait, so we
So-
can adjust it on the
Or-
front end?
Yeah, I just figured as a recommending body, you could recommend it be longer than that.
You
to
are-
the council.
You are the sole body
Oh,
we
well, you
go
don't get
to.
the, okay.
I mean, that's what the council authorized when it adopted the chapter.
Okay.
So so you'd have to come back next year again?
Yeah, if things change substantially, we're gonna have to come back, but there's no guarantee that things won't, or
Is there-
things won't stay the same.
Is there a way we can, you know, approve this, but, excuse me, have some sort of note on there so when it comes back again that we've recommended that it hold, you know, the approval, so it's, you know, a consent agenda item, not a,
Commissioner Arkin, I think it's really hard to do that because as we continue to try to develop what is approved, if substantial changes are made, we got to come back and
Gotcha.
have to be a public hearing.
okay.
Any other questions for the applicant? Then let's go ahead and open it up for public testimony then. If there's anybody that would like to speak regarding docket item number 2, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you will be called upon.
No one has raised their hand on Zoom or approached the podium.
All right, with that, we'll close public testimony and I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crowley, I move to approve docket item number 2 without conditions.
Second.
Motion and a second for approval of docket item number 2. Margaret, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Arkin,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hasek.
Aye.
Morale.
Aye.
All right, looks like the motion passes then. Thank you.
I'm here for the next one.
Yep. Okay,
Docket item 3 has 3 companion cases. So 3.1 is CD CPC 2025-00174, a request to approve an amendment to the Country Club Waldo area plan from office residential to mixed-use community on about 1.3 acres generally located at 7953 State Line Road. 3.2 is case number CD CPC 2025-00167, a request to approve a rezoning from districts B1-1, B3-2, and R-0.5 to District B2-2 on about 1.3 acres generally located at 7953 State Line Road. And 3.3 is CD SUP 2025-00040, a request to approve a special use permit for the expansion of a drive-through facility adjacent to an established parkway in proposed District B2-2 on about 1.3 acres generally located at 7953 State Line Road.
Okay. Good morning, Commissioners. Genevieve Conn-Smith, City Planning and Development. As stated, we have 3 companion cases in front of you for an area plan amendment, rezoning, and special use permit at 7953 State Line Road. Site is located in the southern portion of the city. And here's the subject site outlined in yellow. It abuts both State Line Road on the west and Ward Parkway on the east. And there's an existing Culver's there, drive-through facility. So first looking at the area plan amendment, it goes along with the existing zoning. So on the western side, the recommendation is mixed use community, and on the eastern side is office residential. The request is to amend this entirely to be mixed use community. And you can see exactly where that dividing line is currently zoned R-0.5, which used to be an office residential zoning district under Chapter 80. So we're really doing some zoning cleanup on the site to accommodate the expansion of the use, which is the rezoning request to rezone the entire site to a B2-2, which will also clean up this B1-1 in the northwestern portion of the site. So then moving on to the site plan associated with the special use permit, here we have the existing Culver's building, and really the only major change to the site is adding a second drive-through lane to accommodate the traffic from spilling out onto State Line Road. And then there'll be some reconfiguration of the parking at the entrance to turn that into angled parking. And then the parking on the east side will largely remain with just a few spaces being removed for that drive-through lane. And then the addition of a sidewalk on State Line Road to connect with existing sidewalk to the north and the south. And just to point out a couple of unique things about this site, like I mentioned, it does have double frontage here, so we call that a through lot. The west side abutting State Line Road, the east side abutting Ward Parkway. Even though what we see here as the rear of the property is abutting Ward Parkway, because it's on that parkway, it needs to follow the Boulevard and Parkway standards, even though the site is situated more towards State Line Road. And because of the expansion of the drive-through, that is what's requiring the special use permit, because drive-through uses require a special use permit on boulevards and parkways. And here we have the expansion. So really just due to the uniqueness of this lot. And then we have some, the landscape plan, just showing some additional landscaping and screening, and then some fencing for additional screening that will be provided on the Ward Parkway side. And then when we take the special use permit to the BZA, we'll be discussing some requested variances, the drive-through standards, Boulevard and Parkway standards, and signage. Some of these variance requests are based on this being a through lot, as we've talked about. Others related to drive-through standards are accommodating some existing nonconformities that are being expanded, like the setback from an art district, and then also addressing the proposed digital menu board signs. And then I just have a couple of street view images. These are a little bit old from 2024, but here you have the entrance. So this parking will be converted into angled parking. And then this is the exit where you come through the drive-through and leave the site. This is the existing drive-through lane, so there's only the single lane, and there's parking here that will be removed to construct that second lane and have a slip lane. And then this is the view from Ward Parkway. So there is a lot of screening there already that is in the public right-of-way that the property owner does not have control over. So in the case that this were to change, they would have additional screening as well on their property. And with that, staff is recommending approval of the area plan amendment, rezoning, and approval with conditions of the special use permit. And I can take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commissioners to city staff?
I was surprised that there wasn't a sidewalk already. Was one not required at the time of the project?
I do not have the answer to that, but yes, it is, this is the only lot on the whole block, which is something we talked about with the applicant.
Any other questions? All right, let's welcome the applicant then.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, my name is Patricia Jensen with the Rouse Fretz Law Firm, with offices located at 801 West 47th Street, here today on behalf of the Culver's entity that owns this. Paul Klaus, did you admit him?
Paul Kloss and Aaron Teben have
Yeah.
been promoted.
Paul Klaus is the owner, and he can provide any comment. I'm going to ask Genevieve to present a picture. As many people say, a picture is 1,000 words, says 1,000 words. Yes. So that is the picture. This is our current problem.
Yep, one
At
second.
night,
I think she's still getting it pulled up here. There we go.
at night, especially on busy nights, traffic backs up out into State Line Road. That is not a good situation for either the owner or the city. We're trying to solve the problem by creating a second drive-through lane. All we're doing is striping and putting a menu board out there. Both menu boards are being converted. Our one is being converted to a digital, and that's the subject of the special use permit. But it shows you the complicated zoning process just to be able to fix an existing problem. So that's all the rezoning, the area plan amendment, and the special use permit is simply to solve this existing problem. We're in agreement with all of the conditions contained, and we would request your approval. And if you have questions of Paul Klaus, he is certainly available to answer.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? All right, seeing none, let's open it up for any public testimony then. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket items 3.1, 3.2, or 3.3, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you'll be called upon.
And we did have a public engagement meeting. Nobody attended.
Okay, yeah, I saw that.
No one has raised their hand on Zoom and no one has approached the podium.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and close public testimony then. Anything else to discuss? Okay,
I actually have one question based upon what you just brought up. As I anticipate more fast food businesses will want to modernize and add a second lane, expedite the process, pull people off the street, et cetera. Are there particular things that you think the city could do better to accommodate that? So it's not, so if it is just restriping and adding a menu board, that there's a quicker process?
I think we should look at a quicker process to perhaps do some sort of administrative approval. I mean, some of the complications here were these zoning districts have always been there. I don't know what happened. This was probably, I know this was built before the new zoning ordinance came into effect. So it could have been some of that transition of zoning districts that created the zoning issue out here. I did the original approval on Culver's. That's when I know I'm getting to be too old. And the biggest the biggest difficulty we had at that time was the front portion of the property where the grass area is. So I don't know if the sidewalk is in Leawood. I'll have to check it out. But
It is.
It is? Okay. The front portion of the property is in Leawood. Our biggest difficulty at that time was going through getting a plan approved by Leawood for all the landscaping.
Wild. Okay, so perhaps then we can talk with you later and we can look into some sort of way to pursue an administrative approval
It
process.
should be an administrative approval process.
Yeah, I don't think we want to send all of these through the process that you all went through if they're going to be potentially dozens over the next couple of years.
And every fast food place is doing the double lane now, so it's.
And Commissioner Enders, if I could speak to that a little bit, like Patricia said, this site I would say is very unique, and that's why we're having to go through this. But I believe the culvert, there's a culvers up on, there's a couple culvers up north on Berry, not the brand new culvers, but there's one like 64th maybe, and they just added a second drive-through lane, and based on their site, that was all done administratively. I reviewed it
Yep.
myself. So this, I would say, is a very unique site in this case for the addition of the drive-through lane.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take a motion then.
Chair Corral, I move to approve docket item 3.1 without conditions, 3.2 without conditions, and 3.3 with conditions.
Second.
I got a motion and a second for approval of docket items 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. Margaret, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Erkin,
Aye.
Crawl,
Aye.
Enders.
Aye.
Hassick.
Aye.
Morel.
Aye.
All right, looks like the motion passes then. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yep. All right, let's move on to docket item 4, please.
Docket item number 4 is case CD CPC 2026-0013. A request to approve a development plan for commercial space and residential units in District DC-15 on about 0.44 acres, generally located at 1044 Main Street and 1031 Baltimore Avenue.
Right. As stated, docket item number 4 is a development plan located at 1044 Main and 1031 Baltimore for historic reuse. Site is located in the downtown core. And here's the site outlined in yellow. It's currently 2 parcels. There's the existing building and then existing parking garage to the west. And here's the site plan. Really, nothing is changing here site-wise, but what the proposed project is to convert the Peck Dry Goods building into a mixed-use commercial and residential building. So it'll have about 13,000 square feet of commercial area on the lower floor, mezzanine, and then 74 residential units. And because this is a historic reuse, there is no parking required. However, there will be, I believe, 50 parking spaces in the existing garage to directly accommodate this building. And there are entrances to that garage off of 11th Street and Baltimore, and then that have interior entrances into the building, as well as an exterior entrance on Main Street. And then there were some floor plans provided in the plan set, so you can see on those lower level and mezzanine the commercial space, and then moving up into those residential units on the upper floors, and then a small rooftop amenity area. And then the elevations of the building, really the only exterior work will be just restoring the building and its decorative features, signage, etc. And then we have some street views. I'm sure you're all very familiar. There's a streetcar stop right across the street here. And then since it is on a slope, that's why those floor plans, you have kind of multiple ground floor and then that mezzanine there. And then the parking garage with the entrances off of 11th and Baltimore. And there will be some cleanup work done here, some painting, some removal of signage pieces. So really just cleaning it up, making it look nicer. And with that, staff is recommending approval with conditions, and I can take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for city staff? Okay, let's welcome the applicant then. Good morning.
Okay. Hi, I'm Annie Rouse with Exact Architects. I'm a design professional for this project, and
I'm Tyler Asby. I'm a partner with Exact Architects.
just to reiterate what Genevieve was saying, we're proposing 74 apartments, mixed use, with around 11,000 square feet of commercial space. We currently don't have any tenants for those commercial spaces, but we'll have it leased up before we grand open. There'll be 50 parking spots in that adjacent lot that we intend for the residents to use, but we're going to promote the use of Main Street and the streetcar, and especially there's a bus stop right outside. Other than that, we're going to use historic tax credits for this project. So we're currently getting reviewed for NPS, and we have conditional approval through SHPO, the State Historic Office. So we'll work with them to get an unconditional Part 2 approval soon. And we also did public engagement last week with the Downtown Neighborhood Association, and everyone seemed very excited for it. So we're excited for this project to fully get underway. So we're happy to answer any of your questions.
Can you go over how many units you have again?
74.
Thank you.
Quick question. So you said about 11,000 square foot of commercial space. Are any of those parking spots allocated for that commercial use?
As of right now, no, it's mainly just for residents, but we're still working through that with the leases.
Yeah, it's a good note. I would think based upon, we have a spot right around the corner, and employee parking becomes a big issue, not necessarily for customers per se. And so was that where Mo Bank was, or what was in that spot?
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
Mo Bank.
Yeah, might be worth reserving a handful at least for employees.
Yeah, and I can speak to that. We have other developments with similar capacities, similar mixed use applications. We do control them as the owner, and so we'll control leases to where we do a shared parking agreement on a lot of those. So when a lot of the residents either leave, we'll allocate a few stalls for, to your point, employee only. And then when they come back or when they leave at 5 o'clock, those would get reserved for tenants of the building residentially.
Great. Thanks.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right, let's open it up for public testimony. If anybody out there would like to speak regarding docket item number 4, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you'll be called upon.
No one has raised their hands on Zoom or approached the podium.
Okay, we'll close public testimony then. Anything else you'd like to add? Okay, I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crowley, move to approve docket item number 4 with conditions.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 4. Margaret, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Harkin.
Aye.
Crowell.
Aye.
Enders.
Aye.
Hasek.
Aye.
Morrell.
Aye.
All right, looks like the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, looking at docket item number 5, please.
Docket item number 5 is case number CD SUP 2026-3, a request to approve a special use permit for a transfer station in M3-1 on about 7.8 acres, generally located at 6611 East US 40 Highway. I am the staff planner on it, so I will head up.
Double duty today.
All right, and for the record, Larissa Chambi, City Planning and Development. This is for a special use permit for 6611 East US 40 Highway. This is the subject location. It's located east of the Blue River between I-70 on the south and then Highway 40 to the north. This is just a closer look at the site. This site has come before the CPC multiple times before for the transfer station. Last in 2023, I believe, it was for an accessory structure addition, and then they're back today for their renewal, and it's also acting as their major amendment. And so this was the previously approved plan from 2023. It did include this accessory structure that you see here along to the south of the site. The applicant did confirm that this building is not going to be built, which is why you're seeing it as a major amendment. We're just going to keep the existing structures and site layout as is. And this is the proposed plan. which hasn't changed from what was approved prior to that accessory structure. The applicant is increasing their landscaping from what we saw in 2023. And then they also provided elevations of the existing structure that's currently on site. And then here's some views from I-70 looking down at the site. And then one from their access road, which is also in Westport Independence Road, looking at the existing structure and then that way station. So without the change of use and the lack of change to the site itself, staff is recommending approval subject to conditions. And then with this special use permit, we're recommending an expiration of 5 years instead of 3.
Okay, any questions for city staff? All right. Let's welcome the applicant then. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. My name is Adam Carlson. I'm with the Rouse Freds firm at 801 West 47th Street, here on behalf of the applicant, the waste management entity that operates the transfer station. Also here with me are Kevin Delaney and John McConnell from Waste Management, and then Dan Fenn from Phelps Engineering is attending virtually. We agree with all of staff's conditions to our request, and we are, as she said, we're requesting that you recommend approval of our special use permit to allow the operation of the transfer station for another 5 years. This is the second time we've renewed it. We renewed it in 2023. And as mentioned, in 2023, the applicant at that time did propose allowing shingle recycling, but that was not happened, ultimately abandoned in 2025.
Okay, any questions for the applicant? I just want to hear a little bit about your operations.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I know you put some nice summary in the staff report, but it's always better to hear it straight from you guys.
All right, so here are our general operations. So at this transfer station, we dispose of debris materials from construction as well as solid municipal waste. And on the site, when customers enter, both customers and the trucks enter along Westport Independence Road. There's the access road. Trucks will enter the facility through lower level doors, which place them below 2 in-floor transport chutes. When customers come to the site, they will pull up to a weigh station where they'll meet the attendant. The attendant will weigh the load, and they'll also perform a preliminary inspection of the materials to make sure there are no prohibited materials. Upon moving from the weigh station, the customer will back into the facility, where within the facility, the materials will be unloaded by an employee. The materials will then be inspected again to ensure that there are no prohibited materials. Employees will then push the materials to the in-floor chutes, transferring the materials to the semi-trucks below. When the semi-trucks are full, they will be tarped and leave the facility to ensure that no materials escape on their transport to the approved landfill.
Okay. Is this mainly for larger trash trucks, or can I bring my truck full of stuff out there to dump?
Absolutely.
Okay. As far as trash around the area, it sounds like you do everything inside, but then is there any trash outside? Is there pickup or anything like that? Do you mind talking in the microphone, please?
Okay.
Yeah, just so everybody can hear you online.
We have a full-time person that what he does 40 hours plus every week is picking up litter. We not only do it inside our fence, we also go out, of course, onto Westport Road and then on 40 Highway as well. We want to be a blessing in the neighborhood, and so that's what we do.
Where does most of the solid waste get hauled to?
Johnson County Landfill.
Over off of West
Shawnee.
35 out there, the Holiday Drive or whatever?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the commission? Thank you. All right, let's open it up for any public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 5, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you'll be called upon. Yep, good morning. Just come on up to the podium there and state your name and address for the record if you don't mind.
My name's David Hall, and I basically own all the property that was frontage to the new facility that they put in. Does anybody here work for the state of Missouri, or is this all city employees?
None of us are city employees that are on the commission. Yeah,
Anybody on the state
not that I know of.
controls like 40 Highway?
Nope.
Okay. Well, listen, they're real responsible in respect to coming by and cleaning up their trash and doing the right thing. I really appreciate that. The problem is we've got Independence Westport Road that enters into 40 Highway. 40 Highway basically is 60 mile an hour. If you're not going 60, you're getting run over. These trucks, which are oversized, literally are trying to get out on the 40 Highway, which is adjacent to the Jackson County Jail, which is the new jail that you see being built.
Yeah.
And there's a problem. We don't have the employees coming and going as of yet. But when these cars come out onto the highway, it's relatively dangerous for the truck drivers and people that are coming down 40 Highway at 60 mile an hour. I'd like to figure out a way. I'm not sure how we can control the speed, whether there be stoplights, whether there be something to control that so the drivers can get out on the 40 Highway. But we had a extremely bad wreck just weeks ago, and a lot of oil was put onto the highway, and it took 2 days to clean it up. I wasn't there at the time, so saw pictures of it physically. The oil on the highway, I don't know how many gallons was spilled, but it's still not cleaned up. But the problem is we need some type of traffic control. They're doing as good a job as they can do. Most of their vendors are the ones that literally put trash out onto the streets. It's not waste management. It's, and
Yeah.
of course, I don't think the city has very many DOT inspectors that are actually helping control the trash. But that's kind of the problem down there is physically
Okay.
the speed and the lack of access in and out. So I'm not sure that, and of course, that's not their fault, but.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else like to speak?
No one has their hand raised on Zoom and no one else has approached the podium.
Okay. Do we have anybody on from Public Works on the call?
I don't know what I was asking, but I don't think they have jurisdiction on this road because it's
They don't. It's a state highway, but I was just curious about taking a look at the project itself.
Sure.
From a access standpoint and trash.
It does not appear that we have someone from Public Works online.
Okay. I know Mr. Bassanetto, he's out of town.
Mhm.
Right now he's out of the country, I think. Okay, thank you. And I just asked staff to take a look at that, maybe talk with some of the MoDOT folks on that for speed and access in and out of there. And I know it's not in our city, it's just that location. It's probably everywhere, even in my neighborhood. It needs to be taken a look at. Anybody else? Okay, we'll close public testimony then. Anything else to discuss here? Any thoughts? Especially from the person that did have testimony, getting in and out or
Cody?
speed, slowing things down?
Yeah, just a couple of things. We appreciate Mr. Hall's comments of our efforts to keep the site clean and transport these materials safely and responsibly. Regarding the access and exit from the site, we aren't aware of any accidents caused from our exit and entrance to the site caused by any of our vehicles or customer vehicles. And for the increased traffic that may result from the jail, our use predates the jail. So if any improvements are required as a result of that traffic, that should ultimately be the responsibility of probably the county, not our entity.
Yeah, I don't know. The jail is open now? People are coming in and out. It's not too far down the road when they do open it up. Is that correct? Does anybody know?
I don't believe it's open yet.
But it's not too far down the road though, when it is.
It's-
open.
it's
'Cause they had like the ribbon cutting and all that not too long ago. I imagine when you see traffic in and out from the sheriff and even the city going in and out, things might slow down a little bit. Especially when you see more activity there. Okay. Any other discussion from the commission or with the applicant? All right, I'll take a motion then.
Chair Carl, I move to approve docket item number 5 with conditions.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 5. Margaret, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Merkin,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders.
Aye.
Hasek.
Aye.
Morrell.
Aye.
Looks like the motion passes in 5-0. And I'm sure it'll be noted, watching out for the traffic and the speed down there too. All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, let's move on to docket item number 6, please.
Docket item number 6 is case CD CPC 2026-00005, a request to approve a rezoning from District R-6 to B1-1 on about 1 acre generally located at the Northwest Wind Road. And I will be presenting on behalf of Matthew Barnes.
Okay. Yeah, come on up and sit down.
Okay. As I just mentioned, this is a rezoning without plan for 3746 Northeast Wynn Road. It's located in the 4th Council District in the Briarcliff Wynwood Area Plan area, and it's just north of Avondale and North Kansas City. This is the subject location highlighted in yellow. You can see there's an existing structure on site. Here's a view looking, let me move this, northwest from Northeast Wynn Road. And a view looking northeast from Northeast Wynn Road. The applicant is requesting a rezoning from District R-6 to District B1-1. A certificate of legal nonconforming use was issued for the site in 1954 to allow for a secondhand merchandise business. The CLNU notes that the site was a commercial business prior to being annexed by the city in 1950. And the store hasn't been operational since approximately 2008, which means that that certificate of legal nonconforming use has lapsed. The Briarcliff Wynwood Area Plan recommends mixed-use community for this location. And so the proposed rezoning is consistent with that future land use designation and does not require an area plan amendment. The Community Planning Division did review the application and stated that rezoning the property to B1-1 aligns with the historic commercial use of the site and would allow neighborhood serving amenities such as a small grocery store or restaurant. So just going through some of the criteria, criteria B, nearby properties are zoned R-6 and are developed with single unit detached homes. And there's an existing religious assembly use to the east. And again, the B1 zoning district is classified as neighborhood business 1. So the proposed rezoning for an existing commercial building, which the applicant is proposing to put a grocery store in, does align with that. Criteria C, adjacent properties consist mostly of residential uses, but the rezoning is not expected to change the physical character of the area as it's already an existing commercial building and was previously used for retail. And then criteria E, the subject site is currently zoned R6, but has an existing commercial structure on site that was legally approved prior to being annexed. And so that prior approval shows that the site was historically used for commercial uses. Staff is recommending approval without conditions for this item. And I can answer any questions if you have them.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commission?
The applicant, but I'll wait for them to.
Okay. Might as well ask them now. Let's welcome the applicant.
Just quick question here. I was looking through and I see from your meeting that, the comments were that this is going to be neighborhood grocery store and future potential restaurant. I also saw the concerns about the alcohol sales. If it is converted or if there's part of it that is restaurant, is that there going to be alcohol sales for the restaurant or is it planning not to? Gotcha. Okay, that was it.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add about your project and what you plan to do there?
Do you want us to introduce ourselves
Yeah.
first, or?
Please, yes.
My name is Alina Hama Amin, and this is my husband Ari Hama Amin. And so basically, we've owned the property since 2016. We want to keep the building. My husband has done improvements on it already, the front of it. And we do plan on fixing the parking lot as well. We want to open up a neighborhood grocery store. There won't be any alcohol or tobacco sales. And then future potential restaurant that, we're hoping to do in the future as well. And again, no alcohol allowed there as well. We did have the neighborhood association meeting. The concerns were that hours of operation, we will not be a 24-hour operation. We'll have, like maybe 10 to 8, something like that. And they were concerned about parking. We do have that side fenced area on Drexel that we could open up as extra parking as well if we do the restaurant in the future. So that was pretty much the concerns that the neighbors had.
Okay. Any questions for the, and I'm looking at an aerial photo that was taken in 24. Is there still a lot of stuff on the site now? Like, looks like there's some cars and abandoned
Yeah,
things
it's
that are
not
there.
there anymore.
It's been cleaned up since then.
Yeah, we just need to, the front of the building actually looks way different. So, and we just really need to do the parking lot area, which we plan on doing that prior to opening.
Okay. All right. Without any questions, let's go ahead and open it up for public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 6, please come forward or raise your hand using the Zoom feature and you'll be called upon.
We have one hand raised online. I am promoting Jazz Hayes to panelist.
Okay.
He has been promoted.
Hi.
Hi, good morning. You mind stating your name and address for the record?
Yeah, sure. My name is Jazz Hayes. I live on 4127 North Monroe Avenue. Where I sit is probably about a quarter mile from this property.
Yeah.
So, I am not here speaking on behalf of the Shamir Neighborhood Association, but I am a member of the board and had the pleasure of meeting Alina and Ari, a while back. And got to hear about their plans. Since I've lived in this neighborhood for coming up on 6 years now, this property's been vacant and not in terribly great shape, but these owners have done considerable work to the property to make it look a whole lot better. As the staff presentation mentioned, that this is a commercial building that happens to be zoned for residential for historical reasons. So I don't think it makes any sense to keep it as a residentially zoned property. And if they open up a nice little grocery store or corner store, I think that could be a great asset to the community.
As a neighborhood association, we're trying to get a sidewalk constructed along Cleveland, which would be great pedestrian access to such an establishment. So I'll say I'm looking forward to this building getting used instead of being vacant as it has for so long. So I'm supportive of the rezoning.
All right, very good. Thank you. Anybody else?
No one else has raised their hand.
Okay. Are there conditions on this project?
It's approval without conditions.
Okay. All right. If there's nobody else, let's go ahead and close public testimony. Anything else you'd like to add? I don't know if you want to address the comment about the sidewalk or not. I think there's one along the east side of the building now.
Yeah, they just put one in not too long ago on
Okay.
Cleveland, right next to our building. So that side is good. I don't remember how far back it goes though. Not
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I might clarify,
Yes.
The reason I brought up the sidewalk, it doesn't follow all the way through to the other end. It's just a short segment. It ends pretty arbitrarily. So we're trying to get it all the way through so it connects to other sidewalks that we've had constructed in the neighborhood to have better. As it currently stands, we wouldn't have very great pedestrian access to this structure, but that's not the fault of the applicant.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. If there's nothing else to add, I'll
Just only other thing I would add, maybe just as like a potential parking solution in the future. I have seen it done before. It looks like you have a church that's adjacent to the site across the street. I have seen it done before where churches and businesses directly adjacent to them have parking agreements where, the church parking lot's only used once or twice a week. And so the restaurants use them all of their time. So just maybe something to consider as a possibility. So.
Thank you.
All right, I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crowley, move to approve docket item number 6 without conditions.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 6. Margaret, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Parkin,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders.
Aye.
Hassick.
Aye.
Morrell.
Aye.
All right, looks like the motion passes then. Thank you. Good luck with your store.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, I think that takes us through the whole docket. Anything else to come before the commission? Attendance. Everybody gonna be in attendance next meeting, April 1st. I will not be here at that meeting, so Mr. Enders will get to run that one. It'll probably go much quicker than today's.
Can't go much quicker than.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think we hit a record today.
Yeah, just obviously want to have at least 5 attend our meetings. I mean, I know we all have stuff to do, but please do everything you can to attend a meeting so we have a full commission. And yeah, that's my hope that we have that. Anyways, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved.
All right, I think that's unanimous.
Mm.
All right, thank you.
That is a record.